What is up, my fellow samurai? It's Marsh from Holics here. We have two new consoles dropping this fall, and how are you supposed to know which one is best for you? A lot of info has been released from Sony and Microsoft about their respective consoles, so I'm going to break down the confirmed information, discuss some of the what seems like almost daily leaks now, and I'm also going to share my thoughts on what each system will cost, and I'll let you know which one I'll be buying. Also, if you could leave a like, I would greatly appreciate that. And that will help other people find this video who are still deciding between the two. And we're trying out timestamps on the video for the first time, so you should be able to see where each topic begins and ends on the video timeline. So make sure to let me know if you find this helpful. Now let's go ahead and jump into the video. Now let's go over some of the specs. Both consoles will run 4K resolutions and 60 frames per second. And if you don't know, you will need a 4K capable TV to see resolutions that high. And also, from my understanding, they will both technically be able to handle 8K resolution and 120 frames per second. But there are other factors when it comes to being able to use this, like if the game you're playing is properly optimized to handle it and things like that. So I'll be interested to see how that part turns out. So Sony has 10.3 teraflops with an AMD RDNA 2, and the Xbox Series X has 12 teraflops with the AMD RDNA 2. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. Honestly, I don't completely understand all of the specs, but really I feel like most of us just care about things like load times, graphics, and user interface features. So for the gamers who really want amazing graphics, based on my research, it doesn't seem like this new generation is going to make a giant leap in terms of graphics like in the past generations. It seems like the major leaps will be made in like extremely fast load times and in those user interface features I mentioned. For example, there is a feature I've been reading about that allows you to pause the game you're playing and start another game without waiting for it to load and without losing your spot in the current game. So let me give you a quick example. Let's say that I'm playing the new Spider-Man Miles Morales game on PS5 and I'm in the middle of an important mission, but I receive an invite from a friend that's playing the Ghost of Tsushima Legends co-op mode. And let's say they have a party of 3 and they need a 4th so they can start a raid. Instead of me most likely saying, hey, I can't join because I'm in the middle of a mission, I'll be able to accept their invite, instantly join their party without going through the initial like loading screens and stuff like that. And then my Spider-Man game will be paused in my exact spot without having to worry about finding somewhere to save the game or anything like that. It seems that both consoles will have this feature, but they refer to it with different names. And if it does work like this, I mean, this can be a real game changer. Like, this sounds super convenient and it could immediately become one of our favorite features of the next generation of consoles. But how much will both consoles cost you? I think the PS5 will cost $499 and the digital PS5 will be $399. Now, the price has not been confirmed from Sony yet, so this is just my opinion. But I would be surprised if this is not the price though, because I can't imagine either console being like $599 because that's just too much. And there are many countries in a recession right now. So would you really release something that expensive with a coronavirus ravaged economy? I mean, also, let's just say it's $399 and then the digital one is $299. I could possibly see this, but with the momentum Sony has in the market, and these large corporations always want to make as much money as possible. So that takes me back to that $499 as their sweet spot. And I feel that Xbox Series X would cost the same price at $499, but Phil Spencer has said that they have permission from Microsoft to undercut Sony. So that is possible, but by how much, I don't know. Also, let me know in the comments which console you plan on picking up and why. Or if you're not buying one at all, let me know that as well. And quick shout out to some of our top commenters. Viper, what up? SS Raiden, Stitch, WT3, what's good? Also, Merlin, we've been having a good conversation on the Lethal vs. Hard video. So I just wanted to say thanks to everyone, and I enjoy talking with everyone in the comments. And honestly, it's really cool that we can talk to each other from like across the country or even across the world about one of our favorite things, which is video games. And by no means was this everyone in the comments. We just always have to think about keeping the video as short as possible, but we are going to start doing shoutouts in every video, so make sure to keep a lookout for those. Now let's talk about advantages that each console has over the other one. As far as the PS5, if you have PlayStation VR, it will work with your PS5. At this time, Microsoft does not have anything comparable to PlayStation VR, and it doesn't even seem like they're going to get into that space for their console, but time could always change this. So the PS5 is definitely ahead of Xbox in terms of virtual reality, and I think this is a major advantage for Sony, as VR will remain a big part of gaming as technology just gets better. Now, Xbox on the other hand has backwards compatibility basically on lock. Every Xbox One game will work on the Xbox Series X, and any older game that currently works on the Xbox One will also work on the Xbox Series X. They are also going to use a system that makes games from the original Xbox and the 360 era upscale to have improved graphics and frame rates. Now, Sony has announced some of these things, but from my research, their information isn't as transparent, and it's definitely not as enticing as what Xbox is doing. Microsoft has been clear that you're going to be able to play your old games, and they're going to make some of them look better than they ever have before. And honestly, I think that's pretty dope, and it's a clear advantage over Sony. They also have Project xCloud, which if you combine it with Xbox Games Pass Ultimate, which is the premium option, I believe, you will be able to stream games directly to your Android phone or tablet without needing an Xbox as the middleman or middle console, I guess. And Sony does have PlayStation Now, but it's definitely not as robust as what Microsoft is offering, so Xbox gets the edge here. Now let's talk about the way they look. And obviously this one is just opinion based, but I feel like the design of the new PS5 with that bold and futuristic look takes the cake for me. And don't get me wrong, the new Xbox does not look bad, but it definitely looks very basic, especially when you compare it to the PS5. And I have only seen pictures of the console, so this is subject to change after I actually see them in person. Ultimately though, looks won't matter because we'll be concerned with the way games play and feel in addition to the console features we discussed earlier. Now, something that's not an opinion, but definitely more of a fact that we can all agree on are the exclusive franchises of each console. I don't think anyone's going to argue that Sony has the most console selling franchises between the two. Now, full disclosure though, I've never owned an Xbox. The only times I've ever gotten to play was at like a friend's house or my brother's house when he owned one. For me, the first system I ever bought with my own money was actually a PS3. And I remember it came in this huge suitcase-like box, and it was so heavy, like they put a handle on the box. So as someone who's only been on the Sony side, the thing that keeps me here are the exclusives. We have God of War, Uncharted, The Last of Us, and Spider-Man now. I mean, there's just so many. And then they randomly drop new franchises that are either Game of the Year winners or Game of the Year contenders. I mean, think about Ghost of Tsushima. This is many players' Game of the Year, and it's already beloved. And I don't know about y'all, but this was not on my radar at all. And then boom, now it's like my favorite Game of the Year so far. And again, this is what keeps me on the Sony side. Now with Xbox, they literally don't have any exclusives. Well, anymore. And that's because every game is also on PC. So if you think about it, for the people that own a great or even a really good gaming PC, would they actually have any reason to buy the new Xbox? Also, I feel like PC is superior to all consoles, and I don't even game on one, but based on other factors, PC is known to be the best. So if you're looking for a particular game that comes out on Xbox and you have one of those, wouldn't you just buy it for your PC? And I do want to be crystal clear. I want Xbox and Nintendo even to do really great because competition breeds innovation and it helps to prevent greediness. I mean, honestly, we have to take into account that a lot of the moves by Microsoft and Sony are just based on their profit outlook at the time their new consoles and things like that are being released. I mean, let's be real. If they could, they would charge us like $1,000 for each new console and probably $200 for each game if they knew people would buy it. That's just how business is for most big corporations. Now, as far as which one I'll be buying, based on everything that I've touched on so far and the history of Sony, I'll be buying a PS5 for sure. I mean, I currently own a Switch as well, and I don't see myself ever owning all three consoles at the same time. And honestly, if Microsoft started coming out with amazing exclusive titles, that would be more reason for me to just buy a gaming PC than to actually get an Xbox. Now, with everything I discussed so far, the question still remains, which console is best for you? And honestly, it really just depends on what you want. In my opinion, ever since the Xbox One, Microsoft has wanted their console to be more like a hub for all your entertainment activities and give you the ability to game on your phone, your tablet, and your PC. Sony, on the other hand, is looking to continue their dominance of being the best console for exclusive game titles, and it's the only console that has virtual reality hardware, and it appears that they are looking to expand this by adding even more VR games, and who knows, they may even add an updated PlayStation VR to take advantage of the PS5's power. With everything said, only you know what you want out of your console, and which one appeals to you more. And I'm biased, and I've tried to keep it out of this video as much as possible, but like I said, for me, my pick has to be Sony, but it's only because of the games. I do want a console to be futuristic and state of the art and all that jazz, but if I don't have anything to play on it, then really what's the point? If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you, and I really appreciate y'all watching. Let me know what you think by giving it a like if you liked the video. And also don't forget to comment your thoughts on the console war, and I'm doing air quotes here. Now we have some great videos on the way, and we're already working on our next one, and it's about Ghost of Tsushima and if the map is too big and too empty. So make sure you subscribe and turn on noties so you don't miss it. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.